As people in Boston are starting to feel the heat from climate change, they can also learn about ways to use less energy. To tell us about a series of workshops being offered by utility companies and the city is our guest, the Community Outreach Manager for the Mayor's Office of Environment, Energy, and Open Space, Lourdes Lopez. Thank you very much for being with us, Lourdes.
Well, thank you for having me, Chris. It's a pleasure.
This is the Renew Boston program, and I guess there are people, let's say, a few days from now, they're going to be reaching for the air conditioner, and they're going to be worried about how much it costs. So what can you do to help them?
Well, first and foremost, Renew Boston is the Mayor Marty Walsh's home energy efficiency program, and it's a collaboration between Eversource, National Grid, and Mass Save. And so what the program does is that we educate Boston residents on options to be more energy efficient by having their energy assessment done leading up to the upgrades, which is the insulation and heating system replacement. So we're out there educating residents on the options that are available to save money and be more comfortable at home.
Well, what about the ways that people might be using more energy than they need and maybe not realize it? What comes to mind?
Well, first and foremost, air conditioners are energy hoggers, just as well as heating systems in the wintertime. So being that you're consuming more energy and a lot of energy in the summertime because of air conditioning, that's first and foremost. But if you don't have your home insulating, you're losing all that cold air, just as you would lose hot air, the warmth in the winter. So by insulating your property, you're able to sustain that cold air within the walls, and it's going to increase comfort 100% in your home.
And of course, there are other things going on, such as those leaks. It could be drafty windows or something under the door. That can make a difference too.
Absolutely. First and foremost, once the individual calls into our 635 SAVE number, they're able to schedule a home energy assessment on the spot. A professional advisor will come out from Mass Save to do the no-cost energy assessment. So in essence, every customer that is a National Grid or Eversource customer qualifies for the no-cost home energy assessment. So the advisor will come in, he will switch out all your lighting, incandescent lighting to LEDs, and that action there will save you money on your electric bill, which is another thing where people are complaining, high electricity costs.
Well, people think, light bulbs, how much difference can a change of light bulb make, really?
It all depends on how much you consume. It all depends. The energy you save is the energy you don't use. So in essence, it's always good to keep your lights off when you don't need them. But when you do use them, it's always best to switch out from incandescent to LEDs, because LEDs are the quality of the lighting is excellent and they last forever.
Well, other areas that are common, I guess sometimes you might have your refrigerator running maybe more than it needs to. Things are colder than they absolutely have to be, maybe.
Well, just think of it. Refrigerators work a lot more. There's more strain on refrigerators because of the heat. So again, you want to be able to have an energy efficient with an Energy Star label on your refrigerator, which helps you tremendously. And again, refrigerators work very, very hard during the summertime. But then again, if you're able to insulate, that would actually help on the performance of the refrigerator and the air conditioning.
Well, this is a city with a lot of older housing. I mean, it might be in good shape, but the odds are every so often you've got to replace the systems, and I guess that can save a lot of energy too.
Absolutely. We're fortunate in Massachusetts, which has one of the best incentives in the country, not just in the state, where the Mass Save offers the heat loan, where you can actually bundle up, Chris, your insulation, your window replacement, and heating system replacements if you're going to an energy efficient system through the Mass Save program. Now,
there are people who say, well, that's going to be a lot of money, but I guess another thing you have to remember is that if you ever want to sell the house someday, one of the things that people are going to be asking you about is how much the energy costs.
Absolutely, and it varies. It varies per home, per structure. Consumption is another factor, and on top of the installation, heating system replacement, people are very interested in solar panels. So when you bundle all that together, it's a win-win. So your return on investment is pretty great.
Well, what about solar panels? I know there was a time the city was heavily incentivizing this, but it seems without some kind of help, this could be a pricey deal.
Again, being that we live in Massachusetts, the Mass Clean Energy Center offers a solar loan with a low interest rate. So solar installation isn't like what it used to be before, Chris, where it used to cost a whole lot of money to install a system. Now homeowners can actually finance it as if you were financing a car payment. So the system, the technology is making it a lot easier for folks to have solar on their home.
What's the workshop like exactly?
The workshop is amazing. It's one of the best parts of my job. So we actually have a conversation, a presentation with property owners, landlords, renters are all invited to come in. And so we give a general description of what Renew Boston entails in the Mass Save program. We go over what the home energy assessment looks like, and then at the end, and then during the session, we'll actually talk about heating system replacements and what options are available for folks. So we do cover a lot of territory.
But what's it like when someone comes in and audits a house to look at the energy?
In terms of the actual assessment, folks are kind of skeptical, right? Because as anything, any improvements that you're going to your home, folks are skeptical. But then I went through the experience myself, and it's really fantastic. It almost feels like a home inspection when you first buy.
Did you learn things that you were surprised at?
Absolutely, absolutely. I learned more about how my heating system works in my home. It's just an amazing experience, and a professional advisor from Mass Save does a fantastic job checking the carbon monoxide level in your home to make sure that it's in a healthy, safe compliance.
Now, carbon monoxide, first of all, a lot of people, you can't smell it, but it's there, and this could be produced by almost anything that involves burning hydrocarbons.
And the good thing is that when the energy advisor comes to your home, he's able to detect that by an instrument. And just to add to that, how they check for installation is that they use probes, so they probe the walls. Sometimes they use infrared cameras if they have the instrument. So there are ways of them checking to see if the structure qualifies for installation. And at the end of that home energy assessment, he'll give you a contract or report, and there's no obligation. So the property owner doesn't need to jump on the action. It's just when they're ready.
Right, and of course that means owners, carbon monoxide is an issue if you have gas or oil or even firewood, I guess too, maybe.
Well, the thing is that with home energy efficiency, you cannot insulate a property if it has high carbon monoxide. So those are barriers that would stop an individual from insulating, but there are options to remedy that barrier.
Well, we should mention that you've got a couple of workshops coming up pretty soon. Anything we should let people know about that?
Well, yes, for Boston residents that are interested in being more energy efficient and getting ready for the winter before winter kicks in, I highly recommend that they attend a session or call the 65 SAVE number if they're not able to attend. And join us for the session. We will have folks from the Mass Save program to answer questions that they might have.
By the way, that number or website one more time?
The website is renewboston.org, or the phone number is 617-635-SAVE.
Right.
It's very easy.
Thank you very much for being with us for Renew Boston, Lourdes Lopez. By the way, the first workshop is on Thursday, July 21st, 6 p.m. at the Grove Hall Library. The second workshop's on Saturday, July 23rd, 10 a.m. at the library in Dudley Square.